This is Sports Talk with Phil Cornwood, Chris Bergen, and Pat Daniel. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil, Chris, and Pat with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, here we go. It is Sports Talk. It's Wednesday. It's Thanksgiving Eve. Let me be the first. Let me be the absolute first to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Nobody else has done that yet. So we're first. Happy Thanksgiving. I like to call people the day before their birthday and wish them a happy birthday. Pat, when is your birthday? Is it? Happy birthday, Pat, for whenever that is. So I'll be among the first to wish you a happy birthday. So I can say I didn't forget when your birthday rolls around. So happy birthday, Pat.
Thanks, bud. Awfully nice of you. Happy belated to you as well.
When was your birthday?
I wanted to know each other.
I don't know you that well. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving. Safe travels out there. Weather turned a little bit nicer in the Midlands this afternoon, and I understand along the coast it was raining some, and hopefully the weather's going to be out of here. I think it will be by game time on Saturday night. South Carolina put out some information this evening. Quote, we anticipate additional traffic congestion in the area for Saturday's game. All parking lots around the stadium will open early. Yay! At 1:30 to allow more time for fans to get to the parking spots. So that's good.
Good thing you and I will be arriving via the Sports Talk chopper.
Yes.
We'll be landing right there on top of the press box and get right in.
So they're saying additional congestion around 6 p.m. I'm wondering if that's when they're expecting President Trump to be in the neighborhood. Kickoff is set for 7:39. All parking lots around the stadium will open at 1:30. Gamecock Walk will begin around 5:30. Stadium gates will open at their regular times. Gamecock Park, Woodstock, Armory, LMC, Fair Park lots are also out. Game day parking will be available on a first-come, first-served basis for $40. Credit card only in the state newspaper lot located at 1401 Shop Road. Okay, so the good news is they're making things happen a little bit earlier as far as getting into those parking lots. That should ease the congestion, and that's a good thing about a 7:30 kickoff. You got all day traffic, and by the time our party rolls in our stretch limo, it should be clear sailing into the parking lot. So get off our lawn and get out of our way. Phil Cornwood, Pat Daniel here in Columbia, and Chris Bergen joining us, not from the Bergie Palace tonight. He'll be joining us momentarily from his vacation abode down along the beach. So you know how it is when you're Chris Bergen. I mean, you got residences all over South Carolina. So he'll be joining us in just a moment. We want to get back to your phone calls. A busy night, however. If you haven't gotten through, good night to do so here early. Jump on board early. 888-898-2525. Your chance to give us your picks on the game. Right now, it's leaning towards Clemson with our picks that we have recorded. Anywhere from something like 28-21 Clemson to 80-20 Clemson. A pretty big spread there. Got a couple of folks picking the Gamecocks.
888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Line. Take your phone calls here early. We get really busy. 6:30, Mike Morgan on the move. 7:05, Chalk Talk. 7:35, Will and the Thrill. Also, recruiting to be worked in there. So we got all that. Dabo Sweeney is talking right about now, following the Tigers practice. We might try and bring you a little fresh Dabo. Nothing wrong, Chris Bergen. Nothing wrong with a little fresh Dabo in your life. Everybody should have a little fresh Dabo.
It beats the leftovers that we'll be having on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would imagine. Always good to get fresh stuff.
Well, how long? See, here's the thing. When I first eat the turkey on Thursday, it's delicious, right? And you
Absolutely.
really get a bunch of it. Then, and maybe Thursday night, you might go in the refrigerator, pull out a leg, and eat a leg for a little while. But then come Friday, when I look at a turkey or turkey slices on Friday, I'm sort of like, I don't know if I want any more. I think I've had enough. How deep into the weekend will you eat turkey?
Oh, I don't mind taking it leftover too. I would definitely have some again on Friday. I would, and then maybe probably not Saturday. Working on Saturday and that full. If it makes it to Monday, I'll be surprised. Move on to something else.
Done with,
Ham and turkey tomorrow for sure. Yeah. After that, maybe Friday it'll be pretty much my limit.
Yeah, yeah. All right. On to a few things. 888-898-2525. Calls are coming up in just a second. Let me update the poll question of the week, and then we have our poll question of the day. So let me find which one here. The poll question of the day is oh, that's not it. That's the old poll question of the day. Where's the new poll question? Where is my new poll question of the day? Here it is. Poll question of the day. Where is my poll question of the day? Here it is. Poll question of the day. What is most likely to happen? What is most likely to happen? Rattler 3 touchdown passes. Shipley Maffa 150 rushing. USC fakes a punt kick. Clemson 5+ sacks.
That's tough.
What do you think is most likely to happen?
I can see all four of those things actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what's most likely to happen?
Mm-hmm.
I would say Shipley Maffa rushing for 150 yards. That's where I would go. I think that's most likely to happen. Rattler probably needs to throw 3 touchdowns for Carolina to have a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does that, that means USC's offensive line is holding up well to keep that Clemson front off of him, so that would neutralize the 5 sacks. Stick with the ground game.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I'm Clemson, Garrett Riley, that's what I've got to have. I've got to have those 2 guys combined for 150 or more.
I would agree. Pat, you got any thoughts on which one is most likely? Rattler for 3, Shipley Maffa for $150. Gamecocks faking a punt or kick, place kick.
Which they will do, by the way.
Clemson 5+ sacks.
That is a good question. And I think I'm going to. The 2 that I'm deciding between are the Shipley Maffa 150 or the USC fakes a punt or a kick. Just because I still stand by, even though the special teams of the game have not quite been as explosive as we saw in 2022, Pete Limbo is a heck of a coach. And I think that he and the other coaches may be aware that they're going to not only need to slow down Clemson, but also take advantage of the opportunities they do have on offense. Because if Clemson is able to successfully run the ball, that's going to minimize the opportunities for Rattler. I'm just not sure Rattler's going to have enough opportunities, enough drives to get the 3 touchdown passes. But I would not be surprised if USC tries to extend one of those drives with a fake punt. I doubt we'll see another onside kick like we did, but I think I'm going to go with that. I think I'm going to take the USC fake punt.
Yeah, that might be pretty safe too. That might be pretty safe. I think they're going to pull out all the stops for this thing, and if they're in the right position to call it, I think they will. And that they are begging Clemson to call for a fake punt. They might even do something to try to trick Clemson into calling a fake punt, like maybe line up and leave the middle of the field open or something. Anything to entice them to try to do a fake punt. Now, the poll question of the week, of course, is basically who do you think, based on what you've seen this month, who do you think is going to win? This is straight up, not involving any points. 724 votes in. It's still tied. It's a split electorate. 51% for the Gamecocks, 49% for Clemson. So still got time to get your vote in on that. Go through the week here. Reminder, no show tomorrow night. We are off for the holiday. We'll be back with you on Friday going into the game itself. One other thing I wanted to mention, then to your phone calls, 888-898-2525. I saw this. It actually came out yesterday from a reporter in Oklahoma who's got a lot of followers, and he's kind of been on the beat of this conference realignment. The Swaim Show is the guy. Not sure what his first name is, but he's got a lot of followers and a lot of listeners, so he must have some reputation. So he tweeted out yesterday. Tweeted out yesterday. Let's see. He tweeted that. Well, actually, let me go back here a little. Back in October, he tweeted Virginia, North Carolina joining Florida State and Clemson in plans to exit the ACC after 2026. I think we might have talked about that when that came out. But the one I'm looking at that is a little more recent is this from yesterday. There will be teams, he wrote, actually from November 20th. There will be teams announcing exits from the ACC possibly before the end of this year, most notably Florida State and Clemson, but North Carolina, Virginia, and Miami, and others are coveted by the Big Ten and or the SEC, while the Big 12 is looking at Louisville, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt, among others. So basically, what he is suggesting here is the end of the ACC. If you talk about Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina, Virginia, Miami, and then Louisville, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt, that's 9 teams. If all of that happens to happen and all those teams leave, you're talking about the end of the ACC. So he says there will be teams announcing exits from the ACC, possibly in the next 5 weeks, most notably Florida State and Clemson. And then he mentioned the other schools.
Phil?
Well,
I mean, the SEC is stated publicly that it's happening. Now, obviously, things change. But the SEC has stated publicly that once Oklahoma and Texas roll into the mix, they are satisfied with where they are. And I don't see the Big Ten really out there trying to shop. I mean, could we get to a point where flyover country is where the majority of college athletics are being played in the middle portion of the country? You eliminate the Pac-12 and get rid of the ACC. Be really, really odd, the new setup in college athletics.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as far as the conference affiliation, you're right. I mean, the schools are going to be still where they're located, so you're still going to be in the East and the Southeast and all that. But, to have the Big Ten reach down in here and have schools as members will be very strange, very strange. And I think it's just going to all lead to what I think will happen in a matter of time. And again, that is a national college football league. And then you'll go back to some sanity, because then you can go to divisions within that league and have some geographic sense made out of those divisions. And then go from there, kind of an NFL arrangement as best as you could make it. But anyway, that is what this gentleman has reported. We'll see if he's on the button with all that. Jamie Chadwell is a name in the Mississippi State search for a new head coach. 24/7 Sports is told he's happy at Liberty. Does that mean that's no longer a deal? No longer a possibility that he's
sounds like it
involved Mississippi State?
I mean, Jamie Chadwell is a deeply religious person, and Liberty just seems like a natural fit for him. But that being said, a Power 5 job, I think, is something he is striving for. But maybe Mississippi State was not the one he wanted. So,
what about his tweet from downtown Starkville?
Yeah, that's a great point. Maybe he did actually talk with them about it, and just for whatever reason, I saw the same report you did that maybe they have either cooled on him or he has cooled on them. I'm not sure which. Can't imagine Mississippi State would cool on somebody as talented as Jamie Chadwell, but it appears that may be the case. Maybe they don't feel like he's a splash hire that they have to make in the SEC. I don't know.
Yeah, here's a note from Dabo Sweeney as he has his final media availability. This is being tweeted out by reporters there. Receiver Antonio Williams has practiced a little this week. He's getting better every day. to be determined if he can play. Bo Collins is out, and same for left guard Marcus Tate, who has been out and remains out. So the Bo Collins thing, I guess, is the biggest piece of news. The torn plantar fasciitis, I guess, is not going to allow him to be able to go. And if Williams can't go, that's two major weapons out of the Clemson offense. Though some of the other guys have stepped up. Stiletto has stepped up here in recent weeks and become a factor. Of course, there's Brenning Stool at tight end. You got to keep an eye on him. Tyler Brown, that's probably going to be your three. And then Shipley, I would say, coming out of the backfield gives you a fourth threat through the air at this point. So that is the word from Dabo here as he's talking with the media right after practice this afternoon. Okay, phone number 888-898-2525. Let's go ahead and jump to some phone calls. Folks want to get on board, give us their thoughts on the game, give us their final predictions for the game, and we'll get to those calls in just a second. And you heard from Coach Tim Beck today over at Coastal Carolina.
I did. Pretty much standard operating procedure for Coach Beck. His press conference was actually delayed a little bit. Normally set to begin at noon. They bumped it back to 1. And then with rain here on the coast all day today, team didn't get out to practice until a little bit later. So presser didn't start till about 1:30. He was asked about the quarterback situation. That Ethan Vasco is available this week. He and Jarrett Guest, who played last week against Army, both are sort of splitting reps this week with the first and second team. So kind of playing fairly close to the vest as to who might start against James Madison. Huge ball game for them. If Coastal wins on Saturday, they'll represent the Sun Belt East against Troy next week, more than likely at Troy in the Sun Belt title game. Should James Madison win, since they're ineligible for the division championship, they can't go anyway. But that would mean that Coastal would have to get some help from Georgia Southern taking on Appalachian. And it's interesting, the Sun Belt set this up where both of those games are going at the same time. So everybody should know at about 6 o'clock on a Saturday night who's won the East. But still no Grayson McCall in the lineup. He's starting to move around a little bit, according to Tim Beck, but he has not been cleared to return. And now it looks like if he is ever going to play again for Coastal, it would probably be in a bowl game.
Okay, let's go to Keith in Camden. First up with us tonight here on Sports Talk. Keith, welcome in. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Great to have you with us.
Hey, Chris, Phil. Hope y'all having a good evening.
Yes, sir.
I already gave my score. I just wanted, when you get to recruiting tonight, what have you heard anything in regards to the kid from Midland Valley? I was hoping Pat would answer, and I just asked that question off the air, but.
That's okay. It's always good to have you on the air.
Yeah.
Nothing more since last time I checked in on him, which was latter part of the season. I know he had a huge playoff game, huge playoff season, top 3,000 yards, I believe. Nothing more as far as offers, nothing more as far as any. I mean, I don't think Clemson's involved at all, and South Carolina's had a little bit of interest. I think South Carolina's still hanging with Daniel Hill, who is expected to visit on Saturday and announced in January. I still think they're feeling, pretty decent about their chances with him. But that's the guy they've been going with this whole time.
Yeah, but Phil, this is where I'm struggling. I get that, but when you're down to the level we are, what's wrong with two of them? What's wrong with go ahead and grabbing 2 or 3 for that? It just doesn't make sense. But enjoy the show. Y'all have a good evening. I'm gonna hang tight and listen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know what they said in the recruiting of Hill as to, hey, you're the only guy we're taking. If they've made that kind of promise as a way to entice, that happens a lot in recruiting. And I don't know, you don't have any more restrictions on the number you can sign in a class, but you do have to stay at the 85 limit. But I don't know, without breaking down their roster, and you really don't know what their roster number is going to be until probably sometime in January, after the transfers and the returns are figured out. And you see exactly how many you got spaces opened and how many you've already committed. Then you can look at maybe some extras you can bring in. But, they've got Anderson coming back and Braswell coming back, assuming they come back, of course. And McDowell can come back. So all three of their running backs, I believe, can return. And then they've got a running back already committed in the class, so they're really looking for one more. So if all that works out, I mean, they're looking at having five in the running back room. And if they like those
Keith
five,
asked an interesting question, excuse me, Phil, about that position. I mean, you recruit that the same way, though, you would recruit a quarterback. I know I've heard you talk numerous times about they're only going to offer one quarterback in the class, and that's who they want. They make that clear. Would you do that at that position, or is the running back position treated differently because of the wear and tear and how many guys you actually need at that position?
Well, I mean, you offer multiple, but you tell a guy, if you got your number one guy and you only have room for one, I mean, you tell him, hey, if you commit, we won't bring in any others. And I don't know if that's the case with the running back situation or not. I'm just thinking out loud as for a possibility. But, it's pretty evident. It's pretty evident that the coaches have done their due diligence and they've done their scouting and they've looked at the tape. They've evaluated rightly or wrongly, and they've made a decision. And that's what, unfortunately, might not make sense to us when you have a kid in state who's had that kind of a year. You say, my gosh, why aren't the in-state schools offering him? Well, I know they've looked at him, and I know they've evaluated him, and they've made a decision that they got to go another direction.
Are you surprised, Phil, that we've not seen more of DJ Braswell this year from the Gamecocks? Is that at all surprising to you? As such a highly sought-after recruit at a high school?
Well, he did play. He's played some the last couple of games. He was the guy that had the key block.
He did. He's had 11 carries for 24 yards on the season. He's appeared in 4 games. Just again, to Keith's point, with the struggles that they have had at times throughout the season running the ball, just didn't know if it was at all surprising that you wouldn't see, at that point, take a chance on the young guy.
Well, I don't know. They might have been thinking about trying to redshirt him. So he's been in 4 games, right? So he's at the limit.
That's right. So yeah, he could technically redshirt as of now.
As of right now. If he plays against Clemson, he can't. So. All right, back to the phones, 888-898-2525. Thanks for the phone call, Keith. We go to Ron in Greenville. Ron, good to have you with us. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Phil.
Hey.
How you doing, buddy?
Great. How you doing?
Good. I've got a score for you.
Lay it on me.
Clemson 28, South Carolina 17.
Reasonable.
I want to ask you a question. Did I hear you right when you come on there and said that parking was $40?
Hey, this particular lot, yeah, $40.
My God, I wouldn't do that.
Well,
and,
they gotta make money. They gotta pay those players.
Good gracious. Do they sell beer inside the stadium?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull for Clemson.
Okay, Ron.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much. Real quick, Gamecock Larry in Swansea, if you can get it in a minute, you got the last minute of this portion. Welcome in, Gamecock Larry. Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, I want to say about a happy Thanksgiving, family, friends, and foes. Happy Thanksgiving. I've heard about this Clemson defense. You got an SEC defense. You don't have an SEC defense. You played 4 teams. There's 4 teams: Clemson, Duke, North Carolina, and Florida State. 3 of those teams beat you, and the other teams could have beat you. They gave the game to you. And I didn't give my prediction, but it's going to change, so I ain't going to tell you now. Rattler will get 3 touchdowns in the air and at least 1 on the ground. And the Gamecocks going to roll. They're going to have a Tigers sitting in Whitley B Friday night. Come on down, Dabo. Come on down. Gamecock Larry from Swansea, Dabo. Come on down. Go Gamecocks. Love on you. Love on you. Go Gamecocks.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, Larry. I'd love to have Thanksgiving dinner with Larry. I bet that'd be a lot of fun. Hit the break, and we'll be back. Mike Morgan on the move coming up.
On-point weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's tonight's forecast. Chilly this evening with mostly clear skies and a low of 39. Tomorrow for Turkey Day, look for a mix of sun and clouds, and a 62 is our high. Friday is Black Friday. We'll have a 30% chance of an isolated shower and a high of 64. Saturday's high is 56. A 7 p.m. kickoff for Carolina and Clemson with a temp of 50. I'm Brian Leonard with your On Point Local 1.
Signing up for health insurance can be confusing. Lurie Life and Health reviews your options and gets you the discount you qualify for. Last year, I didn't call Lurie Life and Health. Bad decision. I didn't get the discount or the coverage that I needed. If you're just signing up or not happy with your current plan, we'll find the one that's right for you. Thanks, Lurie Life and Health. You made this so easy.
I'm Joel Lurie. We'll simplify the process. It only takes a few minutes to sign up, and our service is free. Call 803-256-2067.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says there is no indication of a terrorist attack in the vehicle crash and explosion that left 2 people dead at a checkpoint on the American side of a U.S.-Canada bridge. The vehicle was speeding Wednesday from Niagara Falls, New York, toward the Rainbow Bridge, which connects the 2 countries across the Niagara River. The crash raised concerns on both sides of the border. The incident prompted the closing of the border crossing and 3 others in the area. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's national security for prisoners swapped with Hamas. The spokesman said that contacts on the deal were continuing. The release will begin according to the original agreement between the parties and not before Friday. More at srnnews.com.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, Black Friday at Shooter's Choice. Yes, this Black Friday's pricing is going to absolutely blow you away. Shooter's Choice will be dropping unbelievable deals this Black Friday weekend. The doors open at 6 a.m. on Friday to all the deals, and the sale continues throughout the week. You get to be a part of the biggest discounts ever held on Black Friday at Shooter's Choice. That's right, it is all weekend. 3 full days, deals exploding only at Shooter's Choice. Firearms, ammo, scopes, suppressors, gun safes, and accessories all on sale. Prices store-wide so low, it'll leave you in shock. Now remember, there are limited quantities on some of these items, so make it a point to shop early. No rain checks on Black Friday sales. I'm telling you, without a doubt, this is the perfect time to save hundreds of dollars. Fill that Christmas wish list. Follow Shooter's Choice on Facebook and Instagram for an early release of those Black Friday sales. Make your plans for some serious price reductions on hundreds of items. Do not hesitate. Visit Shooter's Choice 6 a.m. Friday to kick off Black Friday weekend. You will not be disappointed. West Columbia on Sunset Boulevard. Make your first choice. Your best choice. Make it Shooter's Choice.
Are you looking for free check and free savings? Dave Ramsey here, telling you to go see Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank that's so big they lose the ability to serve you like a human. At Palmetto Citizens, you're not just a number, you're a member. Join today at any of their 14 locations or at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey, it's Jay with the Cigar Militia, Columbia Cigar Store. You notice the change in the weather? People call it fall. We call it cigar smoking season. Or better yet, it's football. Come in and check out our humidor. Do what I do, get your go-to stick or try something new. Get a staff willing to walk you through and help you find your new favorite. And besides, celebration cigars for when your favorite team wins the game. Cigar Militia, 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. Really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CAR for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CAR for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CAR.
We are back on Sports Talk. Is Wednesday, pre-Thanksgiving, live with you from our studios in Columbia. Reminder, no show tomorrow night, Thanksgiving night. We take the night off to hang out with the turkeys. And then back on Friday, heading into a game week, high school football semifinals, and of course, the rivalry games beginning tomorrow and on through the weekend. We'll get back to your phone calls in a little bit. We got Dabo Sweeney coming up a little bit. Probably get you a little Dowell Loggins in there as well. Without Messina, Loggins, no Messina. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we bring you Mike Morgan. Morgan on the Move, brought to you by State Farm agent Gary Patterson. For 35 years, Gary's been serving the real estate needs from Lugoff to Lexington, from Columbia to Blythewood. Your auto, home, life insurance, and business insurance can all be handled by Gary when he isn't refereeing ACC football games. Is he going to be calling the USC Clemson game? He's spending countless hours helping South Carolinians with all their insurance needs and making a difference in the community. Go check out GaryPatterson.net today, and Gary will go over the best plans for you and your family. That's GaryPatterson.net.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. There are lots of places to buy your next ride, but there is no place like Love Chevy, where you never pay more than MSRP, ever. Come by and feel the difference of love. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads.
Mike Morgan on the move. He's in basketball mode. He's in NFL football mode, but of course, he's keeping a close watch on college football. Gotta love this week, rivalry week. I kind of wish everything ended here. I mean, I know we got the playoff, and I wish everything ended here, and then we went to the bowl games and wrapped it up. I know we got the playoffs, the expanded playoffs coming. To me, there's nothing bigger than the rivalry game. That's what college football has been about, will always be about, if you ask me.
I don't think many people would disagree with that. I think people love this part of the equation, and obviously, I hope that we don't lose any of these or any more, I should say. I mean, we're going to lose a couple. That's already been made clear. Thankfully, the Apple Cup will remain intact. Washington State. But we're going to lose Bedlam. We're going to lose the Civil War. Obviously, we're not going to lose Carolina Clemson. That is been made abundantly clear. No matter how many ungrounded reports that Clemson is leaving, and they might eventually leave, but nobody knows when or where. You have to have a landing spot in order to report a story that Clemson's leaving.
Yeah.
And right now they don't have a landing spot. But thankfully, this rivalry, which I was talking about today on the ITG show, part of the same network you're a part of, Chief Sports.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pleasure for me to cover it for nearly a dozen years and be involved in the broadcasting facets of it. And I still cover it in my own way from a distance now. It's still something that is special to me. I understand it. I know what makes it special. And, even though neither one of these teams have had the season that they had envisioned, it's still a mammoth game. And that, to me, is what makes it a special rivalry. Anybody can have a great rivalry when two teams are in the top 10. but is there any waning interest when the teams aren't as good as they had hoped? And in this case, I don't think there's any waning interest at all.
You look around the SEC in particular, and the rivalry games beginning with tomorrow night, the Egg Bowl, and moving through the Palmetto Bowl and the Iron Bowl. And of course, this incorporates the ACC too. Florida and Florida State. They don't get any better than what we have down here in the Southeast when it comes to these rivalry games. I would say, Michigan, Ohio State. That's fantastic in that it's always a national game, but they're longtime bitter rivals, and it doesn't matter that they're not in the same state. I mean, they really hate each other, those two schools. But there is something extra special when it's the in-state rivals going at it. And I don't feel for them, but I mean, I think if you're a fan of like Tennessee, of course you have other rivals, but can you get excited about Vanderbilt? No. LSU, you really don't have. I mean, maybe Tulane now is rising up where they can become a bit of a rival for LSU if they were playing again. They don't really have a strong in-state rival. That in-state rival, that long time, this is the 120th meeting between the Gamecocks and the Tigers. That kind of tradition is hard to copy, and living in the state that has a tradition like that is really special. And I think we're very lucky here in South Carolina to have it. And like you said, and I've said, we need to make sure. I think our legislature needs to take some action to make sure that nobody can touch this rivalry. We've already had Greg Sankey interrupted once, and with who knows what's going to happen with conference realignment. Um, I wouldn't take anything for granted. If they could kill Civil War in Bedlam, it could certainly kill the Palmetto Bowl.
Yeah, I have enough confidence in the people that run those two universities and the people they have to answer to that that's just not going to happen. I understand the concern, but I just don't see it being a possibility. For one reason, it's already an out of conference matchup, right? So it's not interrupting the flow of Carolina's schedule or Clemson's schedule. It's still, in the case of the Gamecocks now, 8 SEC and Clemson. In the case of Clemson, it's 8 ACC. I hope I said that right, and Carolina. So you get a little bit concerned maybe if one of those leagues goes to 9 conference games and maybe one of the coaches says, well, look, our schedule's tough enough as it is. But again, they would write you out of town if you ever tried to take away this game from the fans of the respective schools. I just don't see it happening. I do wonder, and I was talking about this earlier today on the other show, is that would there ever be a time you consider like what the Egg Bowl has, where you play on Thanksgiving or you play on a Friday, where you have a little more of a window for people to be introduced to this rivalry outside the state of South Carolina? I am curious if that would ever be considered.
Yeah. But Mike, I do have to ask you. I mean, I know you do the show on the Chief Sports app, the Chief Sports Network, and it's a great show. You do a fine job. Just want to make sure that we're getting your best stuff here on Sports Talk. I mean, you are giving us your best stuff, right?
I always, let me tell you something. When I get done with ITG from 11 to 2, the 2 days a week I do it, I immediately put my elbow in a bucket of ice to keep it fresh. So fastball I'm still gunning it up there, 97, 98 for Sports Talk. You know that. I'm a primetime player.
I want your best stuff. I want your best stuff.
Oh, no question.
Do you have a favorite memory of a USC Clemson game from your involvement in the booth?
Well, my first 2 years with the Gamecock radio network were 2000, 2001. And so those were the years that Carolina went from losing 21 in a row to having the back-to-back Outback Bowl season. So, I mean, 2 of them stand out. The first one, of course, was going to Death Valley in 2000. That's the infamous Rod Gardner. If you're a Carolina fan, you say it's a push-off. If you're a Clemson fan, you say it's a great move by a talented wide receiver. And that gave me a taste of it, my first taste of it in Death Valley. And even though it was a heartbreaking loss of Carolina, you could tell that this program was clearly on the rise. And then the following year, where that team was able to cap it off with a win at home. And then that kind of freak of utility, if you will. So those first 2 always stand out to me. I did the post-game show on the infamous brawl in 04. That was an interesting one. And then, the first one with Spurrier, obviously. I'll tell you a quick story. The first year that Spurrier was there in 05, no TV picked up Carolina Clemson. So we were going to do a pay-per-view. Don Munson and I were going to be the announcers. Very few people know this story. Don Munson and I were going to do the Carolina Clemson game on pay-per-view because not a single TV network. Remember, we had no SEC network. We had no ACC network. So with ESPN, ESPN2, didn't pick you up, or ABC, then you were just not on TV. And at the last moment, maybe a week before, the ADs and somebody made a phone call to this person, and somebody made a phone call to that person. They wound up doing the game on, I can't remember if it was ESPNU or two. And so Tommy Moody and I wound up calling the game anyway, and our own broadcast on top of Williams-Brice Stadium outside near the cameras, and just did a mock broadcast. Because I figured we did all that preparation to do a broadcast. I'm going to do it anyway. So somewhere that game is on a CD in a box in my attic that no one's ever heard. But we did call it.
That's
The late
funny.
Tommy Moody and I did call it. Yeah,
That is
that's a
funny.
true story.
How about that? That's a great story. Great
Yeah.
story.
That
Yeah.
really is.
I
That's
just
a,
thought
that's a
of that.
good resume tape thing for you, Mike. If you
Yeah,
want to continue
yeah.
in this career, maybe use that to get another job.
Yeah, I'll make sure to send that one out to somebody. Maybe that'll work out well.
Mike Morgan,
But it
on
is
the
funny,
move with us here tonight.
it is funny just to think about how long. That's not that long ago. We're not talking ancient history, right? We're talking 2005, and that game was going to be radio only and then pay per view. So you would have had to spend $30. It would have been a unique broadcast though, because you would have had kind of a split broadcast with Don and I, and much like we did a lot of the old CSS broadcasts, where, for example, if I was doing a South Carolina Georgia game, I'd be the play-by-play, and like a Buck Bellew would be color.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought those broadcasts always brought a unique element to the table, as opposed to just having your typical two national guys that don't have any attachment to either school.
Absolutely.
So it would have been a lot of fun. Would have been neat.
I agree.
Well, and Mike, that sort of dovetails or leads me into what I wanted to ask you about with regards to, say, Todd Ellis and Don Munson and the radio play-by-play guys. Obviously, they want to do a good job when, Carolina's playing Mississippi State, Clemson's playing NC State. But clearly, this is a big deal for the state, and it's also obviously a big deal for radio. How much additional pressure do you believe is on those guys to maybe put their best foot forward this weekend as well?
Well, I don't know if I would attach the word pressure as much as excitement. I think, those are two guys that have been in those respective roles for a while. You look forward to the opportunity to have a memorable moment behind the mic against your in-state rival, because that can stand the test of time if it's done right, and if the moment provides it. You love to have those. You absolutely love to have those. So I think it's less nervousness or anxiety and more excitement about the chance to be able to call a memorable moment in the most memorable game every year.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, big moment in that game can make your career. I remember my buddy Don Williams, I think it was the 1986 game in Death Valley. And this was when Don was on the sideline. Bob Fulton, Tommy Suggs were up in the box. I think it was 86. And they were playing a tight one in Death Valley. And it came down to South Carolina for a field goal to win the game. Okay. Now, if you're a play-by-play guy, this is your biggest moment. Last play of the game, field goal. Of course, the setup was Bob Fulton would throw it down to Don to call the field goal because he would be underneath the goalpost. Now, Bob hated that. He hated that with a passion, but that was the deal,
As he should have.
And he threw it down to Don. He threw it down like an absolute last second. He kept it as long as he could. And the kicker shanked it. Now, this was a chance for Don to have his shining moment as the Gamecocks beat Clemson on a walk-off field goal at Clemson, and they could all go dancing on the field, and he could scream at the top of his lungs. And I remember his call was, there's the kick, and it never had a chance. He missed it. It never had a chance. That was his call. It never had a chance. He just hooked it.
Oh,
and
man.
that might have been a tie. That game might have ended. Did they have a tie like in 86 or something? I have to go back and look in the record books. That might have been a tie. But the Gamecocks, before they played overtime, the Gamecocks had a chance to win that game and just missed it. Hey, Mike, have a great Thanksgiving. Busy weekend for you on your calls. What you got? You got Kentucky on Friday?
Yeah, Kentucky basketball on Friday for the SEC Network, and then Saints Falcons on Sunday. on Compass Network. So with a national radio call. So looking forward to little college basketball, NFL combo, and then a chance Saturday when I'm en route to catch some of these great rivalry games. And I'll certainly be tuned in Saturday night to Carolina Clemson.
Well, you have a great weekend. Enjoy Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it,
Okay,
Mike.
guys.
Mike
Have a great
Morgan.
Thanksgiving.
Morgan on the move here on Sports Talk. All right, we'll go to the break and we will come back with more and squeeze in some more phone calls, get more predictions from you. Thanks to Mike. 888-898-2525 is phone number. It never had a chance.
That is great. I'd never heard that story.
Yeah.
And Don was good at an economy of words, too.
Oh,
it's one of his good skills.
Absolutely. I'm sure he was ready to let it hang out. Had that field goal attempt gone through. Yeah, 21-21, 1986. Missed a field goal at the end.
This year's Carolina and Clemson Jackpot $5 scratch-off tickets give you a chance to win up to $200,000, whether you're a Gamecock or a Tiger. Plus, you can enter your tickets into the Second Chance promotion for a chance to step on the field or the court to win $50, $75, or even $100,000. In this state, winning the Palmetto Series does matter that much. So get your tickets today. See SCEducationLottery.com for odds and details. Winning and non-winning tickets can be entered. Second Chance odds depend on number of entries received.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at experiencecolumbiasc.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
Touchstone Energy cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out how much you can save on electricity and a whole lot more at touchstoneenergy.com.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. Do you know the difference between a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust? The difference could easily save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in long-term care costs. Visit lawyerlisa.com to schedule a consultation today.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Oh, this makes
Here for some sports, and some say the fun is in the winning. I say the fun is in the training. And Tsunami Robbie, what do you say?
George, we all know you get more done when you're having fun. This technology is engaging, but it's also a lot of fun to use.
Hi, this is Phil Kornbluth. Be sure to click on the digital ad on SportsTalkSC.com and get 5% off any Tsunami Bar order using promo code BBB5. Don't wait, order today.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve more from us. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 203-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Hi, it's Phil Kornbluth of the Sports Talk Media Network. We love our high school football in South Carolina, and we love bringing you the scores every Friday night. From 10 to midnight, we check in on every region across the state with live reports and coaches' interviews. So whether you're in your car after a game or lounging in your den, be sure to dial up the Founders Federal High School Scoreboard Friday nights right here on the Sports Talk Media Network. I want to wish a happy Thanksgiving to our friends at James Smith Realty down in Pawleys Island and Litchfield. And Hope you'll think of Jimmy later on this winter if you're looking to get away for a little weekend vacation or longer, or maybe you're starting to think about your spring and summer plans at the beach and you're looking for a place to stay. Let Jimmy and his staff help you find a great place. Maybe you're thinking about buying some property. Well, they are the people to call to put you right where you want to be and to work it for you all the way to the end and get you exactly what you're looking for. The phone number is 843-237-4246, 843-237-4246, online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. That's Jimmy Smith, James Smith Real Estate. They are waiting for you to give you your perfect beach getaway. All right, 888-898-2525. Kenny in Greenwood. Hello, Kenny. Welcome into Sports Talk. How are you?
Good. Good evening. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, sir.
I'll address two issues. First, I'll give us a prediction.
Okay.
I base this on historical games at night in Columbus. For whatever reason, Carolina's had better luck during the day games, but at night, it tends to cut out. I'm thinking they're not nearly as good as Georgia Tech, so I say 38-17, Clemson. And then the other issue I want to address is the SEC, ACC bias. And I want you to consider something. The ACC and the SEC in the last 10 years have played in 5 national championship games. And the ACC is 3-2 in those games. And this year they're 1-4 head-to-head. And I believe after rivalry week it'll be 2-7. So I believe that a lot of that, raising hell about the ACC being no good is because the ACC is the biggest threat to the SEC. You never hear them talking trash about the Big Ten or the Pac-12 or the Big 12 because they never beat the SEC, but the ACC does. So I'd like to hear your comment on that, and have a great evening.
Yeah, thank you. I think the record speaks for itself. I can't argue about that fact. I think that the SEC has owned the college football narrative by virtue of owning the biggest network and having the biggest skills on the network for them. What a nice discussion. We were on this morning in Florence in our affiliate there, 96.3 FM, and also 95.3 FM. Every day before Thanksgiving, we do a South Carolina Clemson special for 4 hours. Kennard, the bad boy, what you gonna do? Alan Smothers, and others on that show. Chris, you were invited, but you chose not to get up at 5 o'clock. So
No, I've done my share of morning radio. I'm long past getting up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for
KT
the
came
invite,
by. KT came by. Tommy Two Gloves. But anyway, this came up. And listen, I mean, the SEC has a very loud organ in ESPN, the SEC network, and they have a litany of shills for them on the SEC network who continue to do nothing but espouse the greatness of the SEC, and with their lead dog, Feinbaum, taking down anybody that's kind of a threat. He really does. He turns his venom on, and this guy is probably right. He turns his venom on the greatest threat. It was Dabo for a while. Remember how he used to chew up Dabo? It's been Lincoln Riley here of late. Yeah, it's been Lincoln Riley here of late, and on and on. Of course, he did chew up Jimbo Fisher a little bit there at the end. So they do eat their own sometimes. But I mean, the SEC's done a fabulous job of marketing itself and creating the image that people now see, and that is that it's the greatest league of all in college sports. The record doesn't always back it up, as the caller said.
But I don't quite get his opinion about the ACC being the biggest challenge to the SEC. I don't see the ACC being a challenge to the SEC in terms of long-term football success. I think there are a couple of programs in there that may want to get out of the ACC to come into the SEC. I think the bigger challenge is going to be the Big Ten. The SEC's dominance, not the ACC.
We'll pick back up on this and continue in a moment.
Before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button. I thank you. Programming thanks you. America thanks you.
WQXL Columbia, W264D.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107, The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says there is no indication of a terrorist attack in the vehicle crash and explosion that left 2 people dead at a checkpoint on the American side of a U.S.-Canada bridge. Melissa Raffalo says she was in Niagara Falls State Park and saw the smoke, but at first had no idea it was a vehicle explosion.
It was a huge plume of black smoke. I just thought it was a regular fire, like fire, not like an explosion. We weren't sure where it came from. It was probably around 50 yards away from us. But we didn't really realize anything was wrong until we heard a whole bunch of fire.
The vehicle was speeding Wednesday from Niagara Falls, New York, toward the Rainbow Bridge, which connects the 2 countries across the Niagara River. The crash raised concerns on both sides of the border. The incident prompted the closing of the border crossing and 3 others in the area. If you're driving a hybrid Jeep Wrangler, there is a new recall that could affect you.
Automaker Stellantis has announced a recall of more than 32,000 of its hybrid Jeep Wrangler SUVs because they pose a potential fire risk. The recall covers 2021 through 2024 models of the Jeep Wrangler 4xe SUVs. During a review of customer information, Stellantis determined that 8 of the hybrid Wranglers caught fire while they were turned off and parked. 6 of the vehicles caught fire while they were being charged. The company says no one was reportedly hurt in those fires, but they are advising people not to charge the affected SUVs or park them by buildings until they can be fixed. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Another good day on Wall Street with the Dow up by 184 points, the Nasdaq rising 65, the S&P up by 18, oil down 67 cents to close at $77.10 a barrel. More at townhall.com.
Is your inbox overflowing with Black Friday deals? The deal you won't want to miss is Blinds.com's biggest event all year. Save up to 50% site-wide at the #1 online retailer of custom window treatments. For over 25 years, Blinds.com has provided a better way to buy window treatments. 100% online, so there's no showroom markups or waiting hours to get a quote from pushy salespeople. And you'll always rest easy with Blinds.com's upfront pricing. From premium shades, blinds, shutters, and more. DIY, or let us handle measure and installation for you. Plus, get a free consultation with our Blinds.com design experts, always ready to help you make the perfect selection. They'll even ship free samples right to your door. No matter how many windows you have, installation is one low cost, and every purchase is backed by our 100% satisfaction guarantee. Got Blinds.com's Black Friday sale now. Get up to 50% off site-wide plus doorbusters. Save up to 50% at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.
Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, and other northern states hope to stop an invasion of destructive wild pigs from Canada.
The animals already cause around $2.5 billion in damage to U.S. crops every year, mostly in southern states like Texas. But the exploding population of feral swine from the prairies of western Canada is threatening to spill south. What's even worse, wild pigs roaming Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba are often crossbreeds, combining the survival skills of wild Eurasian boar with the size and high fertility rates of domestic swine. Rich Thomason reporting.
Georgia State Supreme Court refuses to approve rules for a new commission to discipline and remove state prosecutors. The ruling means the commission can't begin operating. Some Republicans in Georgia want the new commission to discipline or remove Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
On Point weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's tonight's forecast. Chilly this evening with mostly clear skies at a low of 39. Tomorrow for Turkey Day, look for a mix of sun and clouds, and a 62 is our high. Friday is Black Friday. We'll have a 30% chance of an isolated shower and a high of 64. Saturday's high is 56. A 7 p.m. kickoff for Carolina and Clemson with a temp of 50. I'm Brian Leonard with you on Point. Local 1.
As a kid, you dreamed of being a firefighter one day. Now, the opportunity is yours. Answer the sound of sirens. Live your dream. Become a part of a team, a family. Visit scvolunteerfire.org to find out more.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, we're back. It is Sports Talk Media Network on a Wednesday night, Thanksgiving Eve. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you. Thank you for being with us. In just a moment, we'll have another edition of Chalk Talk. Coach Ellis Johnson, Coach Chuck Reedy. They'll be joining us. Looking forward to having them with us to break it all down for us tonight here on Sports Talk. Bill Kornblut and Pat Daniel here in Columbia. Chris Bergen, not at the Berge Palace. He's at his summer estate over in Georgetown. So nice move to the summer estate here in the winter.
Yes. Puts me a little bit closer to town. This foot fast. Worked out well, and we're going to have a small, very small Thanksgiving celebration tomorrow. My wife, myself, dog.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
If you got the wife and the dog, what else could you need in your life? No, I mean, seriously.
Exactly.
Of course, you need an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. We got the defensive coordinator, waiting on the offensive coordinator. He'll be with us in just a moment. We got recruiting coming up. We'll take a few more of your phone calls as well. So stay tuned for that. Take some more predictions. Hear what you have to say about the game that's coming up. But right now, it is time to welcome in two of America's great football minds. They might be a little long in the tooth, but the brain is still working well in each case. Welcome in on the offensive side, Coach Chuck Reedy. On the defensive side, Coach Ellis Johnson. First of all, happy Thanksgiving to the two of you. Hope you have some great turkey and some great times. Coach Reedy, welcome in. Great to have you with us.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
Coach Johnson, welcome. Good to have you with us, sir.
Good to be here. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir. Another Thanksgiving. Did y'all see the video, by the way, Ellis, Chuck? Did y'all see the video of, I'll start with you, Ellis. You see the video of Clyde Wren dancing the other night after the Gamecock victory at the age of 80, cutting the rug there in the locker room?
No, I didn't. Where was it?
Chuck, you see it?
Oh, yeah. I saw it. Well, but I talked to Clyde Sunday, and he told me about it.
Yeah.
But he didn't go into the detail that the video actually showed. It was pretty impressive.
Hey, man. How did y'all used to celebrate wins, Chuck? After a win, a regular win. I mean, I know the big wins, you guys pop out the cigars and stuff, but how did y'all celebrate just the average? You know, you beat Virginia 35-3. What did y'all do in the locker room afterwards?
Well, still, when you win a lot, you know how to win. You enjoy it, and you enjoy it for the night, and then you get ready for the next opponent. When you don't win a lot, you got to try to create it. And, but when we were at Clemson, we won a lot. And, like you said, the big games, yeah, we would do something special. But, the rest of it was just business as usual.
Ellis, how about in your experiences? Did you do anything special after wins?
Not really. I think a lot of this stuff is geared toward the food, I guess. The last time I was, with the team was Coach Spurrier. He was big on, and Coach Malzahn. Coach Spurrier was big on handing out game balls. And he blocked them. I don't remember that we did it at the balls, but Malzahn, he always had a couple of group kids. We always had a guest alumni, like Charles Barkley or Bo Jackson or somebody, and we got to try to get them all fired up.
Super. Well, I remember in 1977, and Clemson came in to Columbia, and Clemson was Clemson was on a roll, and I mean, it was 77, right? And I think South Carolina had the T-shirts underneath their jerseys that said "No cigars today." I think Clemson used to smoke cigars after their wins or something.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That was a Charlie Bell thing.
Yeah,
That was a
Charlie Pell thing.
Bell thing.
Yeah, and no cigars today. And of course, 77 was a Jerry Butler catch, and those T-shirts were available at a very cheap price after that.
Yeah,
you could find them on the black market. Okay, so let's get to the game.
That's before goodwill, I guess.
Say again.
That's before goodwill.
That's right. You find them at Goodwill now. I just love that though. No cigars today. Okay, Chuck. Overview of the game both ways. What are you thinking on Saturday?
Well, I think in order for South Carolina to win, Clemson's got to help them. They got to do what they did in the 4 losses. They've got to give up a pick six or a scoop and score. I think that's the only way South Carolina can score enough points. And I don't think they're good enough for offense to just go out and win the game. But they're so good on defense that as in the last 3 weeks, they've won the turnover margin, and the offense played on the short field in all 3 games because of the defense. So I think Clemson's going to have to help South Carolina. If they do, like they've done in their 4 losses, and I think South Carolina's probably going to have to get something in the kicking game. South Carolina's not going to be able to put points against Clemson's defense without some help from Clemson. But I think that's the only way they can win the game.
Ellis, how do you see it? Yeah, thank you, Chuck. Ellis, how do you see it?
I think basically the same, and just in different language. If you look at the game last week, they're playing a much better offensive team, but it's a quarterback who's on the same statue of Rattler, and they got after match with the whole thing. Now they gave up some runs, and that happened. But North Carolina has running backs they can run. You can run a little better than Rattler. So they gave up some rushing yardage, but they got done against the quarterback with it. And although his game was not terrible, it was his worst completion percentage this year, made. And he to me, he's one of the best. So that would probably be a little bit of the approach, I would think. It's got to, kind of get after him. From being a factor. Clemson's offense turns the football over. South Carolina will be in this game. Clemson's lost 2 football teams this year out of the 4 that I don't think are any better than Carolina. And so they've shown that, they've got to do better for taking care of their own problems. So they're going to about it.
Chuck, if you're the offensive coordinators both ways, what kind of thoughts do you have in your mind? Start with the Gamecocks. If you're down with Longans, what kind of things are you thinking about that you want to try and do early on to maybe establish some things? And then if on the Clemson side, what are you thinking coming in about how you want to attack this Gamecock defense if you're Garrett Riley?
Well, I think early on, I think you've got to get the ball out of his hands. They've got to get quick throws, whether it be slant, whether it be screens, whatever the case may be, and some draws to try to slow down the rush. And then I would be really, if Clemson's going to bring pressure, bring their backers, play man coverage, I would put a lot of max. I mean, if it meant keeping 8 guys in, if it meant keeping 9 guys in, and try to isolate get and give him time to get down the field because they're going to they're going to pressure Rattler. But if they're going to pressure him with more than in the front 4, they're going to be playing man coverage and max protect and because Leggette's the one guy that can make Rattler and Leggette. They're the only ones that offensively for South Carolina that can change this game.
Mm-hmm.
And and so they've got to do that. From Clemson's perspective, run the ball. they've been running for over 200 yards a game in these last 2 games. You know, they've got 2 good running backs. You know, I would take the ball out of Klubnik's hands and put it in those guys' hands and let them win the game. From the other side, if I was South Carolina, I'd let Ellis do the defensive stuff.
Yeah.
But if I was South Carolina, I'd stop the run. You know, whatever I had to do, I'd stop the run early and make Klubnik beat.
All right, Ellis, your turn talking about pick up on where Chuck left off. If you're Clayton White and you're thinking about the best way to attack Clemson, what are you going to do defensively? What strategy do you want to use? And then if you are Wes Goodwin on the Clemson side, you're thinking about the quarterback, you're thinking about the primetime receiver. How would you approach that? Do you double him? Do you put your best corner on him and say go sick him and stick with him? Do you bring a lot of pressure? How do you see it both ways?
So I think early on, I think South Carolina again they do have to stop the run, make sure they make some third down plays. How they're going to do that, I'm not sure. They switched to the 3-man front. I've told them they are creating some confusion for the team. They may have come in prepared for a different run, but I don't know if it's strong enough to hold up the running game. If these running backs take care of the football, they'll have a hard time. On the other side, I think Clemson, I just feel like they're going to probably put the same approach and pressure. You know, not all the time. The pressure from he's actually been rushing 4 a little bit more late than in, and their 4 are good enough to play there. Not as fast as pressure, but they're getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands, and it's giving them some shots to pick off some passes. So, you know, I think the one mistake Clemson could make on defense is going pressure too much. You can't pressure and double cover a receiver. Not unless now if they start getting the max protect, like I said, they better have something in the back pocket that can double the gap. They'll have a reasonable coverage. But, you know, we're kind of saying the same thing going around the circle. It boils down to Clemson taking care of football and South Carolina being able to find a way.
Chalk Talk tonight here on Sports Talk, getting ready for the Palmetto Bowl with Chuck Reedy and Ellis Johnson. And Coach Reedy, first off, wanted to thank you. My wife and I got a chance to eat at the Comeback Shack just down the road from Charleston Southern on Saturday night. Really enjoyed the hamburger. So thank you for putting that in the way of Charleston Southern because we were going down there for the Skeesa Stick Championship games on Saturday.
Well, great. Well, I appreciate the business and appreciate the plug.
Yeah, that plug was $1,000. So we'll cash or money order will be fine. We don't take checks. We don't take checks here.
Take it out of my salary. Okay?
Well, we'll make you work for your food here because you kind of hit on it. I think that's probably the approach that Clemson should take. But when you have a young quarterback like Cade Klubnik, who has not played in an environment like he's going to see on Saturday, never played in this rivalry game, how do you settle a young quarterback into that situation where maybe, as Coach Johnson pointed out, he hasn't played all that well on the road and mistakes could turn the tide of this game? How do you settle him in early and get him into the ball game so he doesn't try and win the game himself and certainly doesn't hurt his team?
Well, the best friend he has is running game, and so if they can establish the running game, then it makes everything easier for him. So if they can do that, but otherwise, give him some easy throws. Try to get the stuff that don't let him throw the ball down the middle of the field early. For sure, wouldn't do that. But give him some stuff that that he can complete. Get his confidence up. But the main thing is if they get the running game, that's going to open up easy throws for him.
This question could be for either of you or both of you, but so we all know the importance of this rivalry game from fans to coaches to players alike. So there's probably not really a need for any extra or added motivation. But with that being said, last year Carolina ended Clemson's college football playoff hopes with that win up in Death Valley. This year, Clemson has an opportunity to return the favor and essentially keep the Gamecocks out of a bowl game. Does that add anything extra from Clemson's perspective, you think, or no?
I don't. Carolina may play with a little more urgency. They got to get the win to get in the bowl. So I don't think Clemson cares whether they go to the bowl or not. They've got to play well to win in that environment. I'll tell you now, Klubnik has not played. We'll check with some of them. He's not played quite. I don't think in a stadium this loud. It's gonna be kind of like the X Factor because they handle it noise well. They got some players that have been there before. Klubnik's never been there before. And one of our quarterbacks from Alabama, Freddie Kitchen, he told me one day it was the loudest stadium he ever played in. And I mean, he's played in Tiger Stadium at LSU and Auburn and everywhere else. He said it was as loud as anywhere he's gone. So it's going to be a function thing. It's going to be on his shoulders. It's already hit it. They got to put it in the running back's hands. It better be successful. It has to be put in his hands. It's going to be tough.
Chuck, what is your thoughts on? I mean, you were in a Clemson uniform many times, or Clemson gear many times, at Williams-Brice Stadium. Clemson, of course, has had success playing in Columbia. They've had success at night playing in Columbia. The Gamecocks haven't beaten the Tigers in this game in Columbia since 2013. Does Clemson come in? And I hear what Ellis is saying, all the others are saying, and I know the setting there can be intimidating, but does Clemson have a different mindset as a program coming into this game in Columbia because they're there so much every other year? They kind of know what to expect. They've been there before. They know they've won there before. Is it a different mindset for them?
These guys have never played, you're telling me, they've never played at night in Williams-Brice. Now, I can relate back, this before some of your listeners were born, but in 1987, when we went down there with Rodney Williams, and that game was a close ball game, and that crowd literally took over the game, and it was brutal. And I mean, you remember the game. I mean, the 20-7.
Brad Edwards had a couple of picks, I believe, a couple of pick sixes.
He had a pick, and the crowd, Rodney. I mean, it was brutal. So all I'm saying is, these guys hadn't been in that environment. Now, the only way that's going to happen is if it's a close ball game in Carolina, and if they can keep the crowd in it into the fourth quarter. If they can keep it to that point, the crowd can be effective.
Do you think they'll? I mean, you know how crowds can be creative, and you know that they know young quarterback at Clemson has a little bit of a history of happy feet and nervous times. You think they try to get inside his head from a fan standpoint, from the stands?
Well, again, South Carolina they have to stay in the game and keep the crowd in the game. As much as Ellis and I talk about anything tonight, that's probably more important than anything, to keep it close, to keep the crowd in the game. Because if it gets out of hand early, that thing will empty out real fast, and then Clemson will run away with it. So I mean, and we've all seen that too. So they've got to keep whatever they have to do. They can keep the crowd in the game into the second half and into the fourth quarter. Then you got a ball game.
Yeah, y'all came back in '89, Sparky Wood's first game against you. You beat them 45-0. So
yeah, and we beat them the next year in Clemson too. But that's beside.
Yeah,
I'm talking about night game in Columbia in a close ball game. The crowd can be a tremendous factor.
So how are you going to watch the game? What are your plans?
Well,
I'm watching on TV.
Well, I know that, but I mean, like, what are your Ellis? I'll start with you. I mean, are you curling up at your?
I had to go to the game. I don't want to go to that stadium.
I mean, what if Trump invited you to watch the game with him from his luxury suite? Would you go then?
I might do that. I saw Henry yesterday at chiropractor. I could have asked him if he could sneak me up in the box, but I really don't want to be there.
Wait a minute.
My son got 2 tickets, but I'm gonna let Mama and Grandma have those. I'm gonna watch them.
You go to the same chiropractor as the governor?
Yeah, he's the best one in town.
Were y'all like in there at the same time? I mean, that's
As long
kind
as we're plugging business, we plug Chuck's business. Evan Cohen, who is the team chiropractor. Evan Cohen's the best chiropractor in town. I don't know any others, but he's the best one I've been to. And I think the governor's figured that out.
Well, while we're talking about
We're
the governor,
distantly related.
what's his
Still, we're distantly related. Okay.
what's his physical issue?
Now that's the question. Why is the governor visiting a
Yeah, well, this
chiropractor?
is news now. What's the governor getting cracked in there? Is it his neck, his back? Huh?
I guess get some heat on the back or something. I don't know.
Chuck,
we're distantly related, Bill.
You and the governor?
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, I didn't realize we had royalty on the show tonight. You know, this segment gets bigger by the week. Wow, Chuck, where are you? You're up in the mountains, right? You're curling up there in the mountains with the family.
No. Yeah, we'll be coming back Saturday and watching.
Mhm.
We'll be at our place watching the game. You know, you know, of course, she's a big Carolina fan now. So, you know,
Well, now you've got Cohen from both of them. Now you've got a little chain. Well, both of you got Cohen from both of them. So, like at this stage of life, Chuck, you consider yourself a Gamecock or a Tiger?
Neither. Neither one.
Well, what are you? You got. Are you a Mountaineer? Are you a Baylor Bear?
I'm nothing. I can just enjoy watching football, and you know, and to be honest with you, I pull against more people than I pull. So, you know.
All right, Ellis, what are you? Ellis, are you?
I don't know how Ellis is, but everybody's a target I pull against.
Ellis, are you a Gamecock or a Tiger, or do you hang with the Bulldog?
No, I mean, I always said I wish they could come in undefeated every year and so forth. I'm a state of South Carolina football fan, and, but I've told you before, my youngest is a walk-on at Clemson, so I got to pull.
Is he making the travel squad?
They're bringing all of them.
They're bringing all of them.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if they're dressing out, but they bring them all.
Yeah. Nice. Well, guys, I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Hope your turkey is delicious and well cooked to your satisfaction and everything else. All the trimmings are good. We appreciate you so much. I can't tell you enough. Can't pay you enough, as you well know. And we want everybody to go to the Comeback Shack over there near Charleston Southern, and also in Mount Pleasant, and also go visit Ellis's favorite chiropractor, Dr. Cohen. So that's good. We plugged two things for you there.
Bill, my kids want me to come eat with them tomorrow, so I have to go to the X house.
Oh.
I had planned to go to the Comeback Shack, but I got to go to the X's house.
Oh. Okay. Well, you I don't know how you handle that. You just handle it your way. Guys, have a great holiday. We'll let's do it again next back on regular schedule. Well, this is regular schedule. Let's do it again next Wednesday just to wrap it up for a while. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day tomorrow.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, thank you.
Great weekend. Oh boy. Thank you. Ellis is going to the X's, huh?
Good for him.
Thanksgiving. That's brave. That's big.
Yes, it is.
That's big and that's brave. I mean, that's giving. He's taking one for the team, right? You feel like he's taking one for the team?
Absolutely is. But good for him. But, you know, family sort of trumps all, right?
I guess. I don't know. All my exes live in Texas. That's why I hang my hat in Tennessee. Huh? You heard that song
That's what
before?
they say.
George Strait.
That's what they say.
All my exes live in Texas.
And that was a true story. I did not make that up about Heidi and I going to
Oh
the
no,
Comeback
that's
Shack Saturday.
it is. It is
Really good.
Oh, their place is great, and they have one in Mount
Hamburgers are
Pleasant.
outstanding.
I go to the one that you went to down near Charleston Southern. Whenever I go there for the August tour stop, I always go there to eat. Hamburgers are great. Salads are great. Yeah, recommended highly. Well, those guys are fantastic. Only to be matched by Will and the Thrill. We get their take on things. The final read on the Palmetto Bowl rivalry meter. That's coming up. Be back in a moment.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's tonight's forecast. Chilly this evening with mostly clear skies and a low of 39. Tomorrow for Turkey Day, look for a mix of sun and clouds and a 62 is our high. Friday is Black Friday. We'll have a 30% chance of an isolated shower and a high of 64. Saturday's high is 56. A 7 p.m. kickoff for Carolina and Clemson with temp of 50. And Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax manual. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's national security advisor says a planned hostage for prisoner swap with Hamas has been delayed until at least Friday. In a statement released late Wednesday, Sachi Hanegbi said that contacts on the deal were continuing. The release will begin according to the original agreement between the parties and not before Friday, he said. The swap is to take place as part of a 4-day truce that has been expected to begin on Thursday, but was delayed by Friday. Hanegbi gave no explanation for the delay, and it was not immediately clear when the ceasefire might begin. Holiday travelers are starting their final sprint. About 2.7 million people were expected to board flights on Wednesday, and Sunday's expected to set an all-time record of 2.9 million. More details available at srnnews.com.
I sure like to brag about good local businesses. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is a great local biz. Josh and his team stress customer service as their top priority. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning came out to my house. I had a toilet that wasn't working right, a garbage disposal that died. They came out right on time, told me everything they were going to do, and explained the price of each repair before even bringing in the tools. I knew exactly what I was getting and exactly what it would cost. Their prices are fair. Their team is courteous and professional. Plus, they did a great job fixing what needed fixing in my home. I am very careful about making any recommendations, and I'm thrilled and confident to suggest you call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning for any plumbing needs. If it's a repair or to replace something, if it's that tankless water heater that you've always wanted to give you that endless hot water and save you some money, they unclog drain and sewer lines and so much more. Online, you'll find them at franklinplumbing.sc.com, or just give Josh and those great folks a phone call, 799-2222. That's 799-2222, and tell them you heard about them from here at The Point.
Hey, honey, I know you're taking some meds for cholesterol. I was reading that if you're on these medicines, you should also be taking some CoQ10.
Actually, our pharmacist mentioned that to me already. He called me the other day, and we went through each of my medications together.
Really? He called you?
Yeah, he asked if I was having any side effects, recommended supplements that could help me, and let me know the risk of mixing certain drugs.
Wow. I'm happy to know that True Pharmacy is thinking about us.
True Pharmacy, 1628 Boston Highway, 3217 Divine Street, or visit truerx.com.
Hey, it's Jay with the Cigar Militia, Columbia's premium cigar store. Have you noticed the change in weather? Some people call it fall. We call it cigar smoking season. Or better yet, it's football weather. Come in and check out our humidor and do what I do and get your go-to stick or try something new. We've got an awesome staff willing to walk you through and help you find your new favorite. And besides, you're going to need some celebration cigars for when your favorite team wins the big game. The Cigar Militia, 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard.
It's that time of year where our focus turns toward the holidays. For many, it's been a tough year, but now the holidays are coming. It's not about the gifts you get, it's about the gifts we've already been given. This is the time of year we show compassion for those who are in need in our own backyard and overseas too. It's also a time of the year that we should be grateful that we absolutely live in the greatest country in the history of this world. At Bergen Roofing, every one of their employees truly believes in doing their best at the office and at home. Stuart Bergen leads by example, and trust me, we're close friends, I can attest to it. So this holiday season, while many others are finding their inner Grinch, please take the opportunity to just be better. Be a better husband or wife, a better brother or sister, son or daughter, or even a better friend. Just be better to one another. Maybe your actions will inspire someone else to do the same. We all share the same air, so why not share the same holiday spirit? And while you're at it, please hug the ones you love a little tighter this holiday season. These are just some of the reasons that Bergen Roofing has been known as your neighborhood roofer. Happy holidays from the whole team at Bergen Roofing.
We played that for Will because I know that's a song that it brings fond memories to him. I'm sure when he hears it play, he probably goes to sleep at night with that song, running through his mind. Time for edition of Will and the Thrill, joined by former Tiger Will Merritt, former Gamecock Carl the Thrill Chill Hill. Welcome, gentlemen. Happy Thanksgiving to you. We hope you have a great day tomorrow with family and friends and eat a bunch of turkey, watch a lot of football, have a great day. Will, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Well, gobble gobble, and how did you know that was my ringtone? How did you know that was my ringtone?
We do our investigating.
No,
We do our investigating.
I hope you guys I'll have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too. Let's welcome in the Thrill Chill Hill. Good evening, sir. Hope you're doing well.
Going absolutely fabulous. That's what happened. Looking forward to the ball game.
Well, let's begin right there. Give us your take. Here we are. We talk about it every week leading up to it. It's now here. You've seen the teams. You've analyzed the teams, Carl. What do you think of the keys?
I think for South Carolina defensively, I think, believe it or not, win this football game. I think I win this football game for the last games we played in November. They won 2 of them, so I'm happy defense to win a football game this weekend as well. And it's just stopping their offense. It's got to be aggressive on first down and stop their running game. If we're aggressive enough on first down, I don't care if we run the 4 or 3 front linemen down on first down. We got to be aggressive with 10 guys in every block. I mean, blitz, and don't let them get first down. Because you can definitely getting down, running. Then you have to make the quarterback beat you, and I don't think he's able to beat us on offense. So, and their defense, they're stood on defense. Offensively, it's pretty much going to be the box of chocolate, man. If we open that piece of nut, that chocolate, we got nuts and caramel like we did against the same game plan against Vanderbilt. We'll have to get the ball out of our hands. Don't let the linemen get a chance to get the quarterback. But if we do the same thing we did last week, it's going to be a long weekend on offense.
So keeping the Tigers behind the chains early in series, you think that's a key for South Carolina, making them in second and third and long and forcing them to go to the air?
Yeah, the quarterback can't beat anybody, and their offense is turnover prone. It's again, they got enough run. They got some studs at running back. The offensive line is not that good, but they're good enough for the backs they have. If first down is going to be key. If you put them in a passing situation, and I think that just keep it close to the fourth quarter because they don't score well on the road in the fourth quarter anyway. So if we can keep it close ball game, we'll move in the fourth quarter.
Okay, Will, how do you see it from where you are watching Clemson closely and watching the Gamecocks? What are the keys from where you sit?
Well, let me just play devil's advocate real quick because Kentucky has one of the worst offenses in the bunch of places. I mean, in South Carolina, they couldn't get pressure. So, and Carl can say all he wants to about the fact that we're playing a very young offensive line, and which is true. I mean, it's all freshmen and sophomores. But at the same time, I mean, we're still a better offensive. And let me just say one other thing. You say that Clemson's quarterback can't beat you. Let me tell you something. The last 3 weeks, the quarterback Klubnik has beaten everybody with his leg and his arm. So yeah, I mean, he's thrown a couple of picks and he's given the ball away. But at the same time, I mean, he's shown up, man. And I think that South Carolina does pose a threat on the secondary and a little bit in the linebacking core, but I don't see that it's a huge matchup differential between Clemson and South Carolina. So to say that Clemson's quarterback can't beat you, I'm sorry, I disagree. He can beat you, and he will beat you. and that's going to happen Saturday night.
Ooh. Carl, no secret that the Gamecocks need to keep Rattler upright in the pocket, give him some time, and he needs to find Leggett open down the field multiple times if the Gamecocks are going to have a chance. How do they do that?
Well, again, it's the same thing I said about our offense earlier. It's the Vanderbilt offense that we ran against Vanderbilt. If you go back and look at that ball game, South Carolina threw the ball on first down 70% of the time. We've never done that. We're normally a run team 60 plus percent of the time on first down. If we can, again, I don't care how good your defensive linemen are on first down. If you're throwing 4 and 5 yards routes, it don't matter how good they are. They can't get to you. And if South Carolina can get in second and long, the field becomes open and you can't double everybody. And if you double Leggett, you almost have to be in man coverage with the free safety free. And you have whoever's holding guarding Leggett, he have the under route in the free safety the free stack you over. You can't be in man coverage all night long. He's gonna have one-on-one coverage. And the tight end, if the tight end is gonna have a big day, they double Leggett. If the tight end don't have AR slot receiver gonna have a big day.
If South Carolina has a chance, if they have a chance, Leggett has to touch the ball 25 to 30 times. Now, he has to.
Right.
Whether it's back out of the backfield or touch it, I mean, he has to touch it. But see, the problem with that is, Phil, and you know this, when you know that going into the game, you know they're going to scheme against making sure he doesn't touch the ball. So, I mean, that's the South Carolina's only chance of winning this.
insurance needs.
Touchstone Energy cooperative members save more on electricity, and members save more on insurance, groceries, healthcare, restaurants, travel, concerts, and sporting events through Co-op Connections. Touchstone Energy is an alliance of the member-owned electric cooperatives, and as a member, the power is yours. Experience the power of co-op membership with Touchstone Energy and find out
He's completed his 2 seasons at Highlands Junior College, Kansas, getting some major attention. He was at Kansas State unofficial November 11th. Tackles coach Travian Robertson offered in mid-October. They've stayed in touch, talking about once a week. They want him to play defensive tackle, switch between the nose and the 3 technique. And he says South Carolina, of course, is strong with him, being close to home. That's important to him. He picked up his 12th offer from Louisiana on Monday. He visited Coastal Carolina earlier this week as well. And he said it was a very good visit. He talked to everybody, and they showed him some things he didn't know about Coastal Carolina. So they're in the mix as well. Mississippi State, Marshall, Jackson State, Jacksonville State, Buffalo, Charlotte, Akron, McNeese State have offered. He doesn't graduate until May, so his recruitment will carry into February's signing period. And he said USC has the edge right now a little bit. again, because they're close to home. He said everybody's still in the same boat, but South Carolina's a little higher because they are closer to home. This season, he had 26 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, a sack, an interception, and a fumble recovery. So let's go over some of the names of players who plan to visit South Carolina Saturday. Running back Daniel Hill, Mississippi, 24 class. In the 25 class, defensive tackle Sterling Sanders, Blythewood. South Florence defensive tackle Amir Adams. Defensive end Anthony Addison, Sumter. Receiver Malik Clark, Rock Hill. Quarterback Ian Grissom, Louisville. Place kicker Trip Bryant, River Bluff. Receiver Brody Keefe, Charlotte. Running back Tony O'Banner, Thomas Hayward. This is in the 26 class. By the way, Keefe was in the 26 class. Also in the 26 class, receiver Carnell Warren of Bluffton. Defensive tackle Darius Gray of Richmond. Offensive tackle Desmond Green of Timberland. Offensive tackle Langston Hogg, Cartersville, Georgia. Offensive tackle Leo Delaney of Charlotte. 27 class. Quarterback Mason Holtzclaw, Christ School in Arden, North Carolina. Offensive lineman Israel Harris of James Island. Running back Xavier Crowell of Jackson, Alabama, who was actually offered by the Gamecocks. He might not be on the visit list, but they offered him today.
27 class? Is that what you said?
2027. 2027. Yes, that's what I said. 2027. And former Clemson tight end Jalen Lay is back in the transfer portal, John, again, after playing at Alabama State this past season. There you go. There's recruiting for tonight. Remember to check it on our website, SportsTalkSC.com on the X thing. Your X. It's use the hashtag ST recruiting there on X. All right, to the phones.
The
real quick.
web address for X is still Twitter, right? So I think we can still call it Twitter until it changes to X.com.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, it's still Twitter.com.
All right, let's go. We've had a caller waiting for a while, and we appreciate that. As soon as we check on who it is, we'll go to that phone call and see what we have there. And then we will wrap it up for tonight. Reminder, no show tomorrow night. Back with you live on Friday. Basketball, Virginia leading West Virginia late, 48-47. Cincinnati leading Georgia Tech at the half, 40-32. South Carolina State is leading Missouri at the half, 37-35. Whoa. Notre Dame leading Maryland Eastern Shore, 38-32 at the half. Kansas beat Tennessee, 69-60. North Carolina over Northern Iowa, 91-69. Colorado State beat Boston College, 86-74. In overtime, Tennessee Tech beat Presbyterian, 79-75. Citadel loses to Campbell, 65-58. No, okay. There you go with some basketball
soon to
scores.
be number one team again. Probably the best team in the country right now. Certainly with the best player in the country in Purdue. Knocked off Marquette today. Pretty good ball game, 78-75.
Yeah,
sure was. And that game last night between Marquette and Kansas was pretty daggone too. Seeing some fiery reactions from the coaches there in the first half too. That was something.
Okay.
The Tennessee Purdue game looked like watching a football game. Good grief.
All right, no more callers. So let me just say this as we head off for the Thanksgiving break. Want to say thank you, first of all, to everybody involved here with Sports Talk, Chris, Pat, Smitty. We couldn't do it without you guys, everybody else involved, JP and Joshua, working with us on Friday nights, working with Kevin Cohen here at the Point Radio. Couldn't have a better group. We're very thankful to be working with you guys. Thankful for our affiliates around the state who hang with us. We certainly appreciate that. We wouldn't have a radio network if we didn't have radio stations, and we believe so strongly in local radio. We believe it's the best form of radio. We believe that's what the sports fans in South Carolina really crave, local talk with people who know the local scene, and that's what we try to bring you here. And of course, we're thankful for you, our listeners, with us each and every night, whether you call or not, whether you write or not, doesn't matter. We're thankful to have you with us on the air, on the stream, whatever. wish you all a great Thanksgiving. Chris, you and the family have a great time.
Thank you, sir. You guys do the same. And remember, you can just, as Coach Beamer did yesterday, just call us the other guys.
Yeah.
Phil and the other guys.
The other
at
guys.
Sports
Well,
Talk.
to me, you're not the other guys. Pat, you have a great Thanksgiving as well.
Appreciate that. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there.
Off tomorrow, back with you on Friday to take you down to the wire of the Palmetto Bowl. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. See you Friday.
Someone will be right with you. The Point.